Coach Phil Sweat teaches physical education in Beaumont, Texas, a town that is known for producing NFL football players. So it may be surprising to discover that Coach Sweat is more concerned with building character than muscles.
Every year, there are good athletes coming out of school. Good athletes are nothing. They're a dime a dozen. I don't think my job is to build great athletes. My job is to produce good citizens.
Okay, that's all right. What do we do when somebody misses? What do we not do? All right.
You don't tell a kid to do something that you can't do. 8 out of 10 times, that kid doesn't know anything about it. And if he see you do it, and he feel like, hey, that's possible, and then he'll do it. The more I get into it, the more I can put into it. Let's say it like that. If you make a cake, if you put all the ingredients in a cake, then the cake is going to be good. If you don't, then you're going to have a bad cake.
Coach Sweat's recipe for teaching doesn't necessarily include money. When there's no budget to buy new equipment, he simply makes it himself.
There are a lot of athletes or, other people in the world who think they need to have the very best in order to survive or even to conquer what they're doing. You don't need the best. I think you can run as fast with a new pair of tennis as you can with an old pair. And I want the kids to know that nobody's going to give you anything. You got to make what you want. Not only making equipment, but you got to make situations to where you want.
Anything you want on those, you go through them, jump them, over them, under them. Improvise.
There are 3 kinds of people. Those who watch it happen, those who let it happen, and those who make it happen. And I want my kids to make it happen.
Go!
I don't know if you noticed when we were doing the tug of war. It just looked like 2 people pulling a rope, 2 groups of kids. What I'm looking at on the tug of war, and it's just simple, I'm looking at the group of kids that's losing. Will they decide to just say, to heck with it, and turn the rope loose and lose? A quitter never wins, and a winner never quits.
Okay! The winner! Okay, y'all come on over here. Come on.
Athletics teach you discipline. It teach you to take directions. It teach you to give directions. It teach you to be responsible. You can use your body and run and jump on somebody and hurt them. But there are other ways you can use your body. If a guy is fast, he could use that by running track and go to school. But if he's also fast, he could probably use the speed by stealing something and getting away from somebody. So what you want is a positive reaction out of his ability.
Come on, get in there. Get on up there. Come on, there you go.
I love kids. I love to work with them. I like to see kids learn. I've got 7 of my own, and I love every one of them. Kids are the future. And, I think I owe the future something, and that's working with kids.
The Gemini School in Melbourne, Florida, doesn't look like a particularly remarkable place unless you're lucky enough to be a kindergartner in the magical room of Barbara Maxwell.
How you doing?
I care about my kids, and I want them to experience everything. So I think that helps me in the classroom. Well, I'd like to think I balance academics and social interaction where they don't even know they're doing it. It's learning oriented, but it's also fun. They're involved, but they don't know what purpose it's for, maybe.
1, 2, 9, 10.
I'd like for you to count 10 into that cup.
Barbara believes in edible math lessons. As a result, before her kids get to the first grade, they can count into the hundreds, do estimates, graph their results, and eventually they get to eat their academic tools.
Great. Congratulations. You get to eat? We're out there working with little minds, and that's a very valuable treasure.
I think Mrs. Maxwell's one of the best teachers in the world.
Perhaps more than anything, children leave Mrs. Maxwell's class with a love of learning.
Thanks for coming by.
Bye.
When I come to school, I think of myself as teaching and learning each day. I learn something and I teach something every day. We're going to do for today a funeral for I can'ts. But first you have to write your I can'ts, okay? I will do anything as long as it is not illegal or immoral to teach my children. Now what we want to do now is to take the paper and fold it once and then fold it again. And we're going to get rid of these I can'ts. And we don't ever want to hear them again. People tell children that they can't read. Well, everyone can read. And you go by McDonald's and you can read McDonald's. So we shouldn't tell children that they can't read because they can read. And I see their reading level is not how empty the glass is, but how full it is. And I just keep trying to build it up and up and up and up. I have written 3 books about Dr. Martin Luther King. Now, I'm going to tell you why I have written these 3 books. I wrote first to inform you about Dr. Martin Luther King and all the great things that he did. The other reason that I wrote it is to tell you how much you are like Martin. All of you are like Martin. And today, I'm going to teach you a little poem. First of all, I want to teach them, first, you are somebody. You are the greatest thing on this earth. You are somebody. Then I want them to look around themselves and find somebody that said, hey, I'd like to be like that person, and begin to emulate and try to find out how that person got to be where they are. Like Martin. Like Martin. I will further my education. I will further my education. Very good. Now, I read an article just last night that said that 50% of the children drop out of school in the 9th grade. Show me again how many are going to finish the 9th grade. You're telling me that you are not going to drop out, is that right? Yes. Okay, show me our yes sign. Let me see. What about the 12th grade? You're telling me that you are going to graduate from high school, is that right?
Yes. I won't be able to make it.
Why you won't be able to make it?
Because the work will get more harder as you go.
Yeah, and you're a very smart girl, and you can do it. When you go to high school, Priscilla, if you get over there and work gets too hard, you think you're going to drop out, you call back over here and tell somebody to tell Mrs. Catherine that you're about to drop out of school. You understand me?
Okay.
Okay, let's try it again. How many people are going to finish high school? Okay, very good. Okay, now, like Martin.
The dropout rate in Detroit is one of the worst in the nation. But these kids have hope, and a friend named Jacqueline Sweetener Cathy, who simply won't let them fail.
Like Martin. Like Martin. I will make a contribution.
Make a contribution
To the world.
to the world.
It was the extraordinary land and the people of southern Appalachia that beckoned one young teacher to come home to Georgia to begin his career. For 23 years now, Elliot Wigginton has worked with his students to make learning something valuable, something the man they call Wig lacked in his own education.
I think the main reason I became a teacher was because I was not a good student myself, and I had to repeat the 9th grade. And I know what it's like to feel defeated and to be convinced as a 9th grader that you're never going to understand and you're never going to get it right. And when I made it to 10th grade, I ran into an English teacher who understood all the danger signals of a student that was having some problems. And when I went to college, I finally decided that what I really wanted to do was teach 9th and 10th grade students and start a little magazine.
That little magazine is called Foxfire, a quarterly publication produced entirely by Whig students. Drawn from the wit and wisdom of the local elders, the magazine has inspired a Broadway play, a television movie, and a best-selling series of books. But it all started and continues today with a magazine.
Okay, folks, I want to do a quick going around the room, and let's see where we are in terms of these articles. What I want is the name of the person that you interviewed, the topic, and how many pages it looks like it's going to be right now. And let's see what we've got, okay? You guys, go. Go ahead.
We're doing Jack Pruitt on
Okay.
winemaking,
Okay.
and it's about 10 pages.
Dr. John Brown on the Cherokee Indian Cave. It'll be about 4 or 5 pages.
Willie Giles
Okay, got Willie Giles.
and
It's going to be, the topic is ballads,
and hog calling.
hog calling. There's going to be 80 to 100 pages of
It's going to be
transcript.
close.
So once we get it edited, they'll get it down to...
About 70.
I think that's going to be the whole magazine. Typically, they come into the classroom not even knowing where the Southern Appalachian region is, much less that they're part of it, and that it is a distinctive and fascinating culture that's theirs. Also, at the same time, because of the number of experiences they've had working in small groups and in teams and collaborating together, they know some skills that are absolutely critical for the outside world. This looks good, though. It's good stuff. It's that process where every decision goes back to the class that creates the sense of ownership that makes kids want to keep this thing going. Without that ownership, there's no learning. As soon as a group of people have finished with their articles, I need a couple of volunteers to explain to the readers how this issue got put together and the fact that it's all yours, nobody else's material in this. You set up a situation where the kids themselves solve all their own problems. Why? Because when they get out of high school, they got to solve problems all of their lives. I don't want to answer all their questions for them and send them out of my room cripples. I want the kind of situation where they can get people around them and say, hey, you guys, come here. Here's a problem. Now, how are we going to fix it? Brainstorm some possibilities, pick one, go.
Whig students go directly to the source for their articles. Acting as reporters, recorders, and photographers, the kids do all the work themselves.